Hello, and welcome to another edition of Canadian Immigration Law Updates. My name is Nandi Deterville of Deterville Law Office. In today's updates, I will be providing you with information regarding the express entry round of invitation to apply that occurred on January 20th and 21st, as well as the extensions to the travel restrictions into Canada from other countries. Let's get started, shall we? So, with relations to the round of invitations to apply, on January 20th, the provincial nominee class candidates were issued a total of 374 invitations, wherein a score of 741 or higher was required. This round was then followed on January 21st to Canadian Experience Class candidates, where a total of 4,626 invitations were issued to people in that class with a CRS score of at least 454. These two rounds of invitations to apply certainly seems to be a return of IRCC, Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada, to a system wherein they focused really on candidates in that pool who had had previous experience in Canada, be it either through working experience or that they had attended school in Canada, and therefore trying to solidify foreign nationals in Canada to stay in Canada on a more permanent basis. The scoring is somewhat typical of what occurs when these two rounds, these two candidates, groupings of candidates, are selected for the express entry round of invitations to apply. And it's certainly in keeping with that vein, the numbers being higher when it comes to the provincial nominee class candidates, simply because having that provincial nominee class attribute means that your scores are going to be higher in the pool. In the past, however, and we saw back in January, there were again January 6th and January 7th, there were the similar types of rounds where on January 6th, 250 invitations were issued to provincial nominee class candidates with a score of 813 CRS score or higher. And on January 7th, the Canadian Experience class candidates, a total of 4,750 invitations were issued then with a score of 461. So that is certainly in keeping with what we had seen previously at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic impact on Canada, where the IRCC really focused on these types of candidates for the express entry system. And we're hoping that it will once again go on to moving to other candidates where no programs are specified. But we do note that from November 18th, the IRCC has been issuing up to 5,000 invitations per round. And if you consider that these two rounds, so when the system is split into the Canadian Experience class and the provincial nominee class, it's two rounds followed back to back a day apart, but the total remains at 5,000. So that is in fact great news overall, showing that the Canadian authorities are spending or are focusing on increasing the number of permanent residents to Canada over time. And hopefully that continues. And we will be keeping an eye out to ensure that candidates, our clients that are in those pools, are no, are knowledgeable on the types of things they need to focus on in making sure that they have the right numbers, the score for their express entry, or perhaps doing things that would improve their ability to remain in Canada on a more permanent basis. So that being said, we'll move to the other update, and that is in regards to the restrictions on travel that currently exist. Currently, the date for the date that has been given as the sort of timeline for which the discretionary or non-essential travel restrictions continue to be in place is February 21st, 2021. We've noted that over the past few um, months that there have been edits on the number of restrictions, whether or not Canada is intending to increase those. It has been on a more month to month basis that these determinations have been made. And it doesn't seem to be that there would be much change regarding those restrictions. It has been in place for close to a year now, as we're approaching that infamous March 20th deadline, which was when the travel restrictions first came into place. Um, it has been discussed in many fields as to what the government is going to do, and to note whether or not it is sustainable to maintain that restriction on travel for discretionary travel between Canada and other countries, and what constitutes those persons who are, in fact, exempt from those restrictions. So there has been much discussion about who would be allowed into Canada, and indeed what the COVID-19 pandemic and how Canada and other countries are coping with this pandemic, and how they've been doing with regards to their populations. And so we are hopeful that with the rollout of the new vaccines, that perhaps these travel restrictions will be lifted, and again, people would be able to freely travel between Canada and other countries. But we have yet to see that there has been any significant delay in extending those restrictions. We will certainly keep our clients and the general public in mind when we provide our updates. And every time any sort of decision is made, we do at least let you know as soon as possible to see what is possible in your life and what is your intended travel plans to Canada. Noting that as of right now, any travel into Canada requires the the traveler to produce a negative PCR COVID-19 test result in order to come into Canada. And that test must be taken within 72 hours of their departure date into Canada. And that holds not only for foreign nationals, but also Canadian citizens and permanent residents of Canada. And that change, that implementation of those rules towards Canadian citizens is fairly new in the process. Initially, and for much of the last year, the restrictions were not placed on Canadian citizens or permanent residents, but now they have been, and so it is important to note. And those restrictions came in about January 7th. So from now on, no matter who you are required to show the airline those negative test results in order to get to Canada. So that is it for now. And this is indeed my first vlog of 2021. And as such, I just want to make sure that I wish you and your family a very healthy, safe 2021. And hopefully, we will be in touch soon as I provide you with another edition sometime soon. So, you stay safe and take care. Bye for now.